Hey guys, it is NeRDbook100 here today with an update about the NeRDbook version 2.0. Yeah, it's been about a year, and I thought I'd make an update discussing a situation that has popped up in the life of the NeRDbook and why it might be going away soon. Let's get into that. So, I bought this laptop in 2012. I bought it September 29th, 2012, and I got it October 4th, 2012. And I've been using it ever since, and it's worked well. It's had some very rough times, admittedly. It hasn't always worked. It hasn't always been stable. It has always had issues, but it continues to run and run and run, and it continues to turn on every day. It continues to work. I can leave it on for 3 weeks straight, and it won't give me an issue. It's incredible. I don't know. I abuse this thing, and it works. It just continues to work, and I'm considering myself lucky for that. But my luck may be running out. What do I mean by that? Well, there are things on a laptop that are fixable, meaning CD drive problems, keyboard issues, hard drive issues, RAM issues, whatever. But there are that are not fixable, or not fixable at a reasonable price, such as finding a new bezel, getting a new motherboard, stuff like that. Now, why am I going into this? Well, let's be real here. The laptop is almost 2.5 years old. It's 2 years and 4. It's 2 years and 3.5 months or something like that. Too lazy to do the math, so whatever. It's 2 years and 3 months, basically. It's old. It's not old per se, but it's becoming outdated. Now, the CPU in it is still a great CPU. It's the Intel Core i7 30. I used to have this number memorized. I want to say the 3126QM. I'm going to check that real quick. 1 second. Yeah, the 3612QM at 2.1 gigahertz. What's funny is that if you go into Task Manager, it's like maximum speed 2.1 gigahertz, current speed 2.75. So the CPU can go up to 3.1 gigahertz because of Intel's amazing turbo boost. Anyway, so it's a pretty good processor. It's a quad core processor with hyper-threading, so it has 8 threads. I don't remember, 8 threads. I'm not a huge processor geek or anything of that sort, but I can tell the computer's dying. Now, what do I mean by that? So I'm blue screening a lot more, and I believe it has something to do with the hard drive. Now, that's not good, because I have a 1 terabyte hard drive and it's half full of data. And I just recently lost all the data on my 3 terabyte backup hard drive. Had all my videos, all my pictures, and all my music backed up on there. Backed up. Most of it. I say backed up, but I don't mean backed up. I mean, like, when I reinstalled Windows 8, I fresh installed it to make the computer work better. I literally dragged my entire C drive, basically my entire C drive except for program files and such. So basically my NOAA folder, which had all my documents and such in it, and just dragged it over that hard drive. That was like a 540 gigabyte folder with everything in it. Gone. Now, the only problem with that is that my current computer, yes, it has all the files on it that are important to me because I copied the important ones over to my main hard drive when I accidentally formatted that hard drive wrong, because I figured eventually something would go wrong, and it did. So it's a good thing I got all the important stuff off. But there are a lot of things I did lose on there, which is not good. But it's stuff I can live without, because it was, amazingly, 350 gigabytes of it was video. And I can live without the video that was on it. Because I've uploaded, what I wanted to upload to YouTube is on YouTube. So that's good. What's bad is that I lost the data on it in case I wanted it again. Now, that had all my data on it from back when I started my YouTube channel. Back in 2011, I had weird random videos that I decided I'd eventually upload. But I don't have those anymore. I had the same problem. I had a 500 gig hard drive back in 2010 in 2010 and 2011. I got it for Christmas. That died as well. So this is my second one. However, I don't believe it's dead. I believe there's a formatting issue. So I think I can get it fixed and not lose this 3 terabyte hard drive that I need and want very badly. But the bottom line is the hard drive in my computer is dying, and I need to get that hard drive working as soon as I can so I have a place to back up all my stuff. Now, the problem is the hard drive on my computer skips. It ticks and it skips. Now, that's a bad thing. That means the hard drive is dying. So I've been doing a lot of lighter stuff on my computer. I haven't been doing big downloads. The biggest download I've done since this hard drive started skipping was actually today. I downloaded a 1 gigabyte file. It's the biggest download I've done forever. When I copy things over, I'll copy it like 1 or 2 folders at a time and not copy like 47 gigabytes at once. I'll copy like maybe half a gig at once and just keep doing that, which is a very annoying process because you have to keep up with it, and that gets annoying. And on top of all that, it takes a long time to copy the files. That's just it. There's a reason I haven't been installing Windows updates, and that's it. It's because of that. Now, there's one good side and one bad side of this. The good side is I can get the files. The way the hard drive of my computer is, I can plug the hard drive into a different computer if this computer ever dies, and that makes it really easy to copy files because I have a tower in which my tower has a 250 gig hard drive in it, which isn't nearly big enough, but I can get all of my important stuff and put it on there, and that's helpful. The only problem is I want everything that's on my hard drive. And that is just part of it. The laptop is dying, and I'm going to have to ditch it soon. Now, is there a backup plan? Yes, there's a backup plan. I didn't have a backup plan for a while, but I do now. I built myself. My dad brought home a bunch of random parts, and he said, "Here, build your brother a computer." And I built my brother a computer, and the final product ended up being a AMD Athlon 64X2 4800 plus dual core processor at 3.3 gigahertz overclocked. It had a 500 gigabyte hard drive, wasn't digital caviar black hard drive. It had 4 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM overclocked to 866 megahertz, and it had an AMD R7 240. And that was his rig for the most part. It had a K9AG Neo 2 digital motherboard, which has 4 DIMM slots, a PCIe, and like 5 regular PCI. I love the board. It's totally awesome. And a 650 watt power supply. And that's his rig. And I made that for him, and we only had to spend $70 on that graphics card. That was the only money we spent for it. Other than a keyboard and a mouse that we're going to eventually have to get him because the ones he have are wired Dell generic ones that I just had laying around in my room. Now, my dad brought home another wave of more parts, and there were some pretty good ones. There was a same motherboard, and in that motherboard was a AMD Athlon 64 4400 plus, so not quite as good. I've overclocked that to 2.75 gigahertz. And I have the RAM overclocked to 866 megahertz as usual. It still has 4 gigs of RAM. But and it has a 550 watt power supply, which is fine, whatever. I just recently had an IDE 160 gig hard drive, but that died. So my mom was kind enough to buy me a new hard drive off of Amazon. Now I was scouring for the cheapest hard drive I can find from a good brand, not some generic off-brand. I found a Seagate 250 gig hard drive, OEM, which means no cables and not the regular packages. Came in a cardboard box for $20 with free shipping with Prime, and we bought it, and it works great. It's perfect. It's 7,200 RPMs. It came in mint shape. It works really well. It was new, by the way. But since I have 18 million SATA cables laying around, that was no problem to get it hooked up. So I could copy files to that, the important ones. But I want to, like I said earlier, I want to copy them all. So that's my backup plan. It's the second rig I talked about, was the 4400 plus, with the one with the 4400 plus. However, I would have gone over to it now if I had an extra AMD R7 240 laying around, but I don't. The card that I had to put into it was a MSI video card from 2006. It has 128 megabytes of video memory. Not nearly enough to get anywhere. It's DDR2 video memory, by the way, so it's insanely slow graphics card. Barely displays. It displays a resolution of a whopping resolution of 1366 by 768 on my 1080p TV screen. That's the maximum resolution that card can output. It's no, no, it cannot. It just no, it just doesn't work. So, I want to make that my main rig. Now that may seem weird. It seems like a downgrade, and it is. But I really don't mind, because what's the only game I do? Minecraft. I do Minecraft gaming. I play unturned Minecraft and other light games like that. Sure, I might play. There are some Steam games that are like a little bit more graphically intensive, but my computer can handle them at like 300 FPS. So I would assume that the computer with the 4400 plus, if I upgrade the video card, could handle it just fine. Now this comes into the question: what video card am I putting into it? Okay. Here's the plan. I'm going to put in this graphics card. It's a choice between the AMD Radeon R7 260X with 2 gigs of DDR5 or the GDDR5, my bad, the Gigabyte GTX 750. I'm going to go with this one because A, it's cheaper, and B, it has 2 HDMI ports. So it's basically out of the question. I'm going to actually add that to my favorites and email that to my mom and say that's what I want for Christmas. Now, I have one monitor. Hang on while I go back and switch because I'm too lazy to do certain editing. So there we go. I have a monitor already. I've been using it with my laptop for a while. This is a Dell 20-inch monitor that my dad brought home from his work. It has a resolution of 1600 by 900, which, yeah, no, 2014, that's not very high. But for what I do on a computer, I don't mind it. I actually like that resolution. I really do. The 1080p on a 20-inch monitor makes everything too small. I really like the 1600 by 900. I think it's a perfect balance, and I sit about 3 to 4 feet away from my monitor when I'm at my desk. So that's really helpful to have that way. And so I'm thinking I'm going to stick with it. And I was trying to find on the web an exact clone of that monitor. The best one I could find was a deal on eBay for a used one for like $80. So I'm going to see if my dad has another one at work that he can give me, because it's not being used, and so on. I do have a couple 4.3 monitors I could use in the meantime, but I really don't want to use those. Now, the problem with switching over to this computer is the fact that I will no longer have the features that my laptop does, which is the really good processor and the 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM. And so things will be slower. But I think the video card will make up for it for the most part. And for what I do on the computer, I probably didn't need to buy a laptop this good, but it's lasted me a very long time. It's kept up. But I've seen my brother use his computer, and I've put it through some stress tests, and it doesn't quite get to where my laptop is, but it performs pretty well. The thing to the processor is like one that I believe it came out in 2008. It's pretty impressive that it's kept up that well. And I have Windows 7 loaded on it, and it works great. So I think I'm going to just switch over to that with a better graphics card. And Christmas is coming up, so I'm going to ask for that for Christmas instead of the new Smash Brothers. Now, a lot of people are going to kick me for that, but here's the thing. Smash Brothers is sold out everywhere. 'Cause I don't want just the game. Nobody wants just the game. They want the game with the controller and the adapter. And I want the controller and adapter as well. The only problem is it's sold out everywhere. You can't find it. Nope, not at Best Buy, not at Target, not at Fred Meyer, not at Costco, not at GameStop, not anywhere. You can't. It's out of stock on Amazon. That's how rare that it's out of stock from Amazon's shop, and the cheapest it is on Amazon is like $204. I am serious. You can go look at that. It is super expensive. It just isn't worth it. I think it's more worth it to keep my workstation going. You can tell me what you think below. If you have another idea for a graphics card, please let me know. I'm gonna try and get this. I'm gonna give it about a week, and if nothing comes up, then nothing comes up. But if you have ideas, let me know, and I'll decide eventually. But for a graphics card, I mean. But yeah. So my plans of maybe getting a HD PVR out of the question. I don't play enough Wii U games to the point where I feel like yet that I need to upgrade my capture device. My Dazzle still works okay. It does what I need it to do, and that's that. Anyways, thank you for watching this update video. And if you noticed in my Chrome tab, I have an LCD monitors tab for Best Buy open. But the only problem is, I was trying to film this before, and I was going to point out a monitor that I was looking at, and it's like, oh wait, it doesn't have HDMI, so that won't work. But bottom line is, things are changing around my gaming setup, and they have to change. Because the laptop, I really don't want to put this laptop through any more stress than it needs to go through. I'll probably just end up using it as a laptop that I just use for when I go to friends' houses and such. But when I'm at home, PC, it'll be the desktop. Alright, this is NeRDbook 100, signing out. Thanks for watching.